One evening, Cynthia, a quirky single mom, spins her daughter Maria around in an empty shopping cart as they laugh and sing. Later, they search through a dumpster in a quiet alley, and Cynthia excitedly tells Maria about the things she's found. Soon, Cynthia pushes the cart down the street while Maria, tired, sleeps among the items they picked up. They pass a local boy named Billy, who's smoking. Cynthia tells him to go home. A few days later in music class, Maria rubs her eyes sleepily instead of singing with the other kids. The strict teacher tells her to leave. Later in the school's science room, Maria examines the skeleton model, lightly tracing its structure with her hand. By afternoon, Maria comes home and has to push the door open because trash and papers are blocking it. It's clear that her mother collects too many things. She sits on the floor, takes off her shoes, and smiles at their pet ferret, Pearl. Cynthia checks Maria's lunchbox and gets upset, thinking Maria forgot to bring back a piece of used aluminum foil. That night, they eat dinner on trays in the messy living room while watching TV. One evening, while taking a bath together, Cynthia shares a saying, and Maria repeats it like it's very important. The next morning, instead of helping Maria look for her PE uniform, Cynthia teaches her how to deal with unkind kids. She tells her that if anyone at school is mean, she should close her eyes and shout something bold. At school, Maria quietly tells the teacher, Mrs. Norwood, that she couldn't find her uniform. The teacher says she'll have to stay in her underclothes during class, and the other students laugh at her. Later, feeling embarrassed, Maria eats lunch alone on a small bridge. Angry at her mom for losing the uniform, she throws her trash through the fence instead of bringing it home. When she gets back, Maria rushes into the living room and asks why their house is full of so much stuff. She says that when she visits other houses, they don't look messy like theirs. Cynthia reminds her that they have a roof over their heads and what they need, but Maria says she's tired of how they live and feels ashamed. Later, Cynthia asks why she didn't bring back her school trash. Maria falls to the floor and touches something wet under a tarp. Worried, she asks if it's their pet ferret. Cynthia lifts the tarp and shows her that it's just a few dead rats. As Maria quickly backs away from the scary sight, she knocks over the iron and burns herself badly. That evening, while Cynthia sits quietly, thinking about everything, Maria sits in the back corner of the bathroom, touching her injury. She softly speaks, and Cynthia gently tells her not to listen to what others say. They only talk like that because they don't understand their love. Maria says she didn't mean the hurtful things she said earlier. She was just upset. She adds that she actually loves their life and the catalog of love, a name Cynthia uses for the things they collect. Later that night, Cynthia jumps out of bed and pretends that someone is sneaking into the house. Maria laughs, showing they often play pretend together. Because of the accident the day before, Cynthia decides Maria should stay home from school. They spend the morning drawing on each other's faces with chalk and having fun. In the afternoon, they run into Mrs. Norwood at the store. She asks why Maria wasn't in school. Realizing this is the teacher who embarrassed her daughter, Cynthia speaks up and tells her how unfairly she treated Maria. On the walk home, mother and daughter admire the Christmas lights as snow begins to fall. Later, Maria asks for some money to buy candy at the corner store. Before leaving, she opens a Christmas present from Cynthia and thanks her with a smile. While walking home from the store, Maria has a scary encounter with a strange man. Frightened, she quickly runs the rest of the way home. Still upset, she goes to her bedroom and hangs her damp leggings on the radiator to dry. As she gently plays with some baby rats, she suddenly hears a loud crash downstairs and her mother calling for help. Maria rushes down and finds Cynthia trapped under a pile of clutter. A stack of things had fallen and hurt her badly. Cynthia, in pain, calls Maria closer and gently reminds her to always remember their catalog of love. Later, when the police arrive, Maria gets upset after overhearing an officer say her mom was never fit to be a parent. A social worker then takes Maria to a foster home. At the house, the worker helps her settle in and later brings her to the hospital for care. In a quiet room, the adults gently explain that Cynthia needs to stay in the hospital for a long time, so Maria will have to live at the foster home for now. 10 years later, teenage Maria walks into the kitchen. Michelle, her foster guardian, tells her that a former foster child named Michael will be staying with them for a while. As Maria grabs her bag, she hears a fork fall to the floor. She picks it up, looks at it for a moment, and decides to take it with her to school. Outside, Maria sees her neighbor Janice, who congratulates her for making it to the last day of school. That afternoon, Maria hangs out in the park with her best friend, Larabe. They relax and talk, and later, as they walk home, a man named Pete pulls up beside them in his car. Larabe wants to take a ride, even though Maria isn't sure it's a good idea. Eventually, Maria makes it home feeling dizzy and tired. As she slowly climbs the stairs, she runs into Michael, who looks at her with curiosity and asks what she's doing. Still feeling a bit off, Maria jokingly asks him to help take off her shoes, and he does. Moments later, Michelle arrives with her friend Sam and Sam's daughters, Holly and Ellie. In the kitchen, Michelle tells them that Michael once stayed with her when he was a child, but later went to live with his older brother. Michael shares that since his brother is moving to another country, he's thinking about finding a place nearby for himself and his girlfriend. As he walks upstairs, Maria makes a sarcastic comment. In response, Michael grabs a marker from her pocket and writes something silly on the back of her school uniform. They laugh and joke with each other, and he tells her she has a nice smile. Later, Michael sees Holly and Ellie teasing Maria, but she quickly stands up for herself and doesn't let them bother her. Soon, Larabe arrives to help Maria get ready for a night out. At the bar, Maria feels bored and says she wants to leave, but her friend encourages her to stay a little longer. Later, Maria meets a guy named Sean, and they joke around while playing snooker. As she hears the sound of the chalk on the cue stick, it brings back a strong memory from her childhood. She gently brushes the chalk on her cheek without really thinking about it. Without her knowing, Michael is also at the bar and notices her strange behavior. He tells his friend that he wants to leave, but is convinced to stay a bit longer. Later that night, back at home, Maria and Michael sit on the trampoline in the backyard. Michael opens up and says his mom had problems when he was younger, which is why he had to live with Michelle. Then he pulls out the cue chalk and lightly touches her cheek with it, showing that he noticed the small moment that meant something to her. Just then, Michelle comes outside and tells Maria to come back inside. Maria asks her foster mom to call Larabe's father to let him know she's spending the night. The next day, Larabe's father, Ali, storms into the house, upset after hearing from Janice that his daughter was seen with an older man the night before. Later, someone arrives to deliver an urn containing Cynthia's ashes. Maria makes a comment about how it took 10 years, but the man explains they only handle recent cases, meaning her mother passed away just 2 weeks ago. Maria looks shocked, clearly unaware that her mother had still been alive. As she sits quietly by the front door, Larabe shows up, upset. She says her father found out about her behavior and has decided to send her away, though she doesn't know where. While Maria is lost in thought, she puts her hand through the mail slot and accidentally gets stuck. Michael shows up just in time, uses cooking oil to loosen her hand, and carefully helps her pull it free. During the process, the box with Cynthia's ashes falls, and he gently gathers the remains into a bowl. Later, the two of them watch bullfighting on TV. When Maria doesn't respond to him, Michael quietly sits beside her. She doesn't say anything, but after a moment, she mimics the angry bull on the screen. Laughing, Michael grabs a bright piece of clothing and pretends to be a bullfighter, waving it playfully in front of her. After chasing each other around the house and playing roughly, Maria manages to pin Michael to the floor. While catching her breath, she finds a small ball of aluminum foil in his pocket. Suddenly, they hear the front door open. Michelle is home. They quickly run back to the couch and act casual before she sees them. The next day, Maria waits until Michelle leaves for work, then takes a trash bag from the bin outside. She and Michael sneak into someone's backyard. As Maria walks past some laundry hanging on the clothesline, she remembers odd things her mother used to tell her. Just then, the homeowner spots them and yells. They both run, and on the way out, Michael grabs one of the white sheets. Back at the house, Holly and Ellie tell him that his girlfriend is inside, talking with Michelle and Sam. Before going into the living room, Michael hides the sheet inside a drawer. In the living room, he greets his girlfriend Leah, who is showing the others some color samples she plans to use in their future home. A few moments later, Maria meets Leah and realizes she is expecting a baby. That night, after dropping off Leah, Michael tells Maria he's going to be a dad and that it all happened unexpectedly. Later, once the house is quiet, they joke around in the kitchen, tossing food and laughing. Maria remembers a scary moment from childhood, and Michael comforts her, saying he cares. Later, he shows her a hidden white sheet and says she means a lot, but she just playfully hits his arm and walks away. The next day, Michael skips work and follows Maria as she searches through trash. She asks him to recreate a childhood memory using a hot iron. He's hesitant, but agrees, then feels guilty and suggests the hospital. She refuses. When Leah shows up, Michael lies and says he's sick to keep her away. Upset, she leaves. Maria refuses regular care and asks Michael to help in his own way. The next day, Maria trades something for a toy drum and walks down the street playing it. Michael sees her and feels hurt she didn't include him, thinking they always did odd things together. Maria tells Michael she's tired of him always agreeing with her bad choices. He says she doesn't always treat him well either. When Janice tries to help, Michael snaps, and she leaves. Later, Michelle smells something bad and finds trash hidden in the closet. Maria doesn't admit it but takes it out. Michelle points out how unkempt she looks and reminds her it's been 5 months since graduation. Time to step up at home. After Michelle leaves, Maria spreads trash across the living room. That night, she meets a grieving woman at a bus stop. They share a quiet moment, and Maria gives her coat in exchange for a toy alligator. Maria walks home barefoot, her feet swollen from the cold. Michael sees this and gently helps her. Later, she reaches out, and he reminds her he cares about her deeply. They sit together in silence, finding comfort in each other. The next day, Leah arrives wearing a ring and says Michael proposed. Michelle casually tells Maria the news, not knowing she already knows. Later, Michael admits the proposal felt right, but Leah hints it was overdue and may be forced. That night, Michael follows Maria outside, but they're interrupted by a scream. They find a woman hit by a car. Michael runs for help, but she dies. Maria gently places coins on her eyes. Afterward, Maria climbs into a dumpster. The next morning, she returns home barefoot with 2 bags. Michelle, worried, asks where she's been and if she's okay. Maria says nothing and quietly heads to her room. Leah arrives upset that Michael broke up with her in a voicemail and blames Michelle for it. While they argue, Michael goes upstairs and is shocked to see Maria's room full of trash. But Maria is lost in memories of her mother. Michael tells her he loves her, but she quietly says no. Michelle steps in and asks him to leave. As Leah heads out, Maria gives her the small alligator toy and asks her not to leave her child. She explains the mess was hers and her mom's, and Michelle gently says she understands. On New Year's Eve, Michelle helps Maria clean the room. LaRob returns, saying her trip helped fix things with her dad. Before Michelle leaves for work, Maria tells her she loves her. That night, Maria puts Cynthia's ashes in a Ziploc bag, ties it to a firework, and sets it off. Watching the sky, she tells her mom she still loves her, and always will.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay connected with us.